Tonight on DC News Now. Kilmar Abrego Garcia again being threatened with deportation.
We've got him under control. He will no longer terrorize our country.
A judge's order temporarily stopping the government's latest effort to remove the Maryland father from the country.
National Guard troops now armed as they patrol the district.
Cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C.
Plus a threat to take federal dollars from D.C. if the city doesn't eliminate cashless bail.
We're still going to be tracking that fall feel through much of the rest of this week. The latest details on those numbers coming up.
The first person in the country infected with the flesh-eating screwworm is in Maryland. We hear from an entomologist about the risks and the precautions we all need to know about.
The Commander is reaching a deal with their star wide receiver. Details on Terry McLaurin's nearly $100 million contract.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for DC News Now at 9. I'm Susan Tran.
I'm Chris Flanagan. Developing tonight, a judge orders Kilmar Abrego Garcia not be deported. For now, this happened just hours after Abrego Garcia was taken back into ICE custody in Maryland. It is the latest chapter in a long saga since he was wrongfully deported to his native El Salvador back in March. DC News Now's Ben Dennis live outside of ICE headquarters in Southwest DC.
And Ben, Kilmar is currently being held in Virginia. What's next in this case?
That's right, guys. Right now, the Department of Homeland Security is still trying to deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia over those human trafficking charges out of Tennessee. That's something he denies. Abrego Garcia's legal team, though, they're still trying to get him due process in this entire investigation.
After appearing before a crowd of cameras and supporters,
what do we want? Justice for
Kilmar! Kilmar Abrego Garcia was taken into ICE custody Monday morning in Baltimore after showing up to an immigration field office for a check-in.
There was no need for them to take him into ICE detention. He was already on electronic monitoring from the U.S. Marshal Service and basically on house arrest. The only reason that they've chosen to take him into detention is to punish him.
Garcia spent the weekend with his family in Prince George's County after he was released from pretrial detention in Tennessee on Friday, a state where he faces human smuggling charges, allegations he denies.
Me he enterado cómo la comunidad.
I have come to know how the community has stood up with so much support and has hugged me with so much solidarity.
Top federal law enforcement continuing to claim he's an MS-13 gang member. He also denies this.
We've got him under control. He will no longer terrorize our country. He's currently charged with human smuggling, including children. The guy needs to be in prison.
After being taken into custody, his attorneys quickly filed a lawsuit challenging any new efforts to deport him. The government reportedly wants to send him to Uganda after he denied a deal to plead guilty where he would be sent to Costa Rica to become a lawful citizen. The federal judge doubling down, saying the Trump administration is absolutely forbidden from removing him from the state.
And this fight does not end today.
Exactly where Abrego Garcia is being held in Virginia is not known. The judge did order that he not be moved from wherever he is currently being held, so he has access to his lawyers. The judge had also instructed the lawyers and the government to propose dates for an evidentiary hearing no later by tomorrow morning. Outside ICE headquarters in Southwest DC, Ben Dennis, back to you.
And thank you. Now let's take a closer look at the Trump administration's efforts to deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia. It is one of the first cases where President Trump is accused of shipping people off without due process. On March 12th, the Trump administration wrongly deported the Beltsville father to El Salvador because of an administrative error. These are some of the images, the first ones from that notorious prison. Federal officials flying Abrego Garcia to the Central American country despite a court order saying he could not be sent to El Salvador for fear of persecution. On April 10th, the Supreme Court ordering the Trump administration to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return to the U.S. On April 17th, Senator Chris Van Hollen from Maryland heads to El Salvador and gets that meeting with Abrego Garcia. On June 7th, the Justice Department finally arranges for Abrego Garcia's return, but it's to face human smuggling charges stemming from a traffic stop in Tennessee in 2022. He pleads not guilty on June 13th. On August 22nd, which was Just Friday, Abrego Garcia is finally released from this Tennessee jail. You can see him walking out there. He makes his way home to Maryland and is under house detention with an electronic monitoring device. This morning, Abrego Garcia reports for a scheduled check-in with officials in Baltimore, and that's where ICE agents detain him again. We have been following the mistaken deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia since the beginning, and we'll be sure to bring you the very latest as he continues to fight deportation. We'll have those details for you on air and online at DCNewsNow.com.
Meanwhile, just hours after President Trump signed an executive order to ban burning U.S. flags, a man is charged for burning one in Lafayette Park.
As a protest to that illegal fascist president that sits in that house.
U.S. Park Police tell us the man was arrested because it's against the law to light a fire in that area. It happened around 6:30 this evening. The order aims to prosecute people who burn flags associated with other violence, such as inciting a riot. Critics say that violates free speech. We are now in week 3 of the D.C. takeover, and the National Guard now authorized to carry weapons, and they are. We've been seeing them holding rifles or just carrying their pistols around the district and inside metro stations. We'll have a live report on this story coming up in just a few minutes. This all comes as President Trump takes aim at D.C.'s decades-old cashless bail policies with a new executive order, and he's threatening to take away federal dollars for D.C. if the city does not comply. Mayor Muriel Bowser not addressing cashless bail directly, saying the city's efforts to expand pretrial detention has helped lower crime.
I frankly think that has worked better than any system.
Well, Bowser also says she has heard from D.C. families anxious about immigration enforcement as school starts back up.
Meanwhile, a Republican-led congressional committee says that there's now a whistleblower who has come forward to say D.C.'s crime numbers have been manipulated to show a historic low. Republican Congressman James Comer saying leadership within the police department ordered the changes. The name of the whistleblower has not been released, nor has information about how the person could corroborate the details and all of the data that had been altered. The House Oversight Committee has already launched an investigation into D.C. crime numbers.
All right, let's get a first check on the forecast. Chief Meteorologist Jackie Layer, and not a bad way to kick off the work week, Jackie.
Yeah, really nice out there today. We had the low humidity, we had the sunshine, we had also a nice breeze too, as everyone was out there enjoying it as well. I mean, we're talking about that low humidity sticking around over the next several days. That cold front cleared the area late last night into early this morning. That did spark up a few thunderstorms late last night, but those have since faded away. We are tracking those dry conditions persisting, though, overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Temperatures out there right now, those low to mid 60s, farther out towards our westernmost areas. We're still holding the upper 70s at this hour in the district. Those dew points, though, this was the game changer out there today. We had those 40s to low to mid 50s for dew points. Very comfortable, especially when you factor in this is the last week of August. Typically, we do have those higher dew points and that humidity, but out there this week, it's likely non-existent, or at least much more comfortable compared to what we should have this year. But overnight lows tonight, falling back in those 50s to low 60s. For those kids heading out to the bus stop tomorrow morning, yeah, they might need that light jacket, especially in the suburbs where we're starting off in those 50s. But for D.C., likely starting off in those lower 60s under those mainly clear sun-filled skies. That sunrise will be just a little bit after 6:30 in the morning, and we'll see those high temperatures tomorrow, very similar to the day today. But I'll have more details on that. We'll get towards the rest of that work week forecast coming up.
All right, Jackie, we'll see you then. Meanwhile, the first person in the country with a case of a flesh-eating parasite is confirmed in Maryland. It's called screwworm.
Health officials say that the person recently returned from visiting El Salvador. DC News Now's Mark Hall joining us live now. And Mark, how concerned should we be of being infected or this infection spreading?
Well, Susan, Chris, the Maryland Department of Health and the CDC, they're investigating, but the CDC says the risk to the public health in the U.S. is very low. We spoke with Dr. Max Scott, a professor of entomology at North Carolina State University. He says that screwworms are mainly found in cattle and rarely infest humans. Now, screwworms look for open wounds in animals, and people usually get infected when they come in contact with animals or spend a lot of time outside. Dr. Scott has spent time in countries south of the border, and he has seen the screwworms up close. He says that they're painful and will eat your flesh. And it's important for people who travel to those countries with infestations to take the necessary precautions.
Females are seeking out a wound to lay their eggs in. If they can't find a wound, then they'll lay their eggs in the sort of nasal cavity or around the eyes or the ears. So it's possible if you go to these areas, particularly if you're in rural areas around livestock that are infested, or sleep outside.
But as scary as it sounds, Dr. Scott says that there is no reason for Marylanders or people in the neighboring states to panic. Again, the risk of it becoming a health crisis is extremely low. Scott says about 50 years ago, screwworm spread into Texas, but says that that's unlikely that will happen again, thanks to the advancement in insecticides and also additional modern prevention efforts. Susan?
All right, Mark, thank you. Investigators in Northern Virginia are trying to draw attention to a 20-year-old cold case. A 23-year-old woman thought to have died by suicide was later ruled a homicide. Police are still searching for who killed Nerita Rosa Garcia. Investigators say on August 25th, 2005, officers found her hanged in her Manassas home. They say police also discovered a suicide note, but an autopsy later revealed someone killed her. They're now looking for the public to come forward with more information.
The Trump administration demanding an apology from George Mason University. According to the White House, efforts to diversify its workforce violates a civil rights law intended to end segregation. So to resolve the alleged violation, the U.S. Department of Education is proposing an agreement that would require GMU President Dr. Gregory Washington to issue a statement and personal apology for promoting unlawful discriminatory practices in hiring, promotion, and tenure processes. School says it is reviewing the proposed agreement.
All right, my friends, did you hear that? A very loud sigh of relief for Washington Commanders fans. The team finally signing its top wide receiver, Terry McLaurin.
A lot of happy fans out there, and one happy player, too. It's a 3-year contract extension worth a whole lot of money. DC News Now sports reporter Alex Flum joining us live here in studio. And Alex, this is really a massive contract.
Yeah, huge for the Commanders, huge for Terry McLaurin, and we have been basically waiting all summer for this to happen. And now the big thing is here is that Terry McLaurin is now on track and expected to play Week 1 against the New York Giants on September 7th. After a months-long contract dispute, the team has reportedly signed Terry to a 3-year, $96 million extension. This is massive news for the Commanders, as McLaurin was instrumental in the team's success last season. He is now under contract through 2028. And let's take a look at how we got here. This all started in May and June when Terry McLaurin did not show up to the team's OTAs or minicamp. In late July, he didn't show up for the start of training camp either. He eventually did come out to sign autographs at practices, but was placed on the physically unable to perform list. On July 31st, Terry McLaurin took it a step further and requested a trade. The team made it clear they don't want to trade him. August 16th, he was activated off the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, but still not practicing, which brings us to today. Terry McLaurin signing his long-awaited extension, expected to sign that in the next day or two, but agreeing to that contract with the Washington Commanders, which at first it seemed like it would happen, and then for a while it was like, it might not, and here we are today.
It did. Got him back for opening day.
All right, thank you so much, Alex.